We are just days away from the 2025 NFL Draft, and joining us now is Ryan Wing, sports director at our sister station in Green Bay, Fox 11. And for those of you that don't know, I actually worked in Green Bay with Ryan for 2 years. So Ryan, it's great to see you again.
Yep.
What's it been like?
Great to see you, Nicole. How's everything?
Everything's great. Just excited for you guys because I know how special Green Bay is, and I think it's so cool that they're having an event like the draft in such a small city. So what's it been like? Set the scene for us and tell us what it's been like to have all the setup happening over the last few weeks, and I'm sure months, really.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. As you know, our station is literally pretty much right next door to Lambeau Field. So the draft footprint ends right next to our station. So it's been a little chaotic for us. Draft is taking over the town. It's pretty cool. They're calling it the Super Bowl for the Packers because they're never going to get a Super Bowl here. It's too small of a city. It's the smallest city in the NFL, and they're hosting the draft, which is pretty cool. They expect about 240,000 fans to come here for the draft. In context, that's about 3 times how many people come to Lambeau for a game. So it's going to be cool. There's a lot of stuff people can do that's like very much Green Bay. They're going to have just down the road for me, it's called the Draft House. They're calling it in the Titletown District. They're calling it Get a Taste of a Wisconsin Dive Bar. They're going to have supper clubs bringing in food. So it's going to have a very Wisconsin themed feel to it, to the draft, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot more people than Green Bay is used to seeing, especially, just compared to even game days, like you said. Have you seen those people start to come in already? I know it's still 2 days away, but have people been filling in throughout the week?
A little bit. We've started to see some kind of walking around here today. They've closed down Lombardi Avenue, which is the street right behind me, which is what Lambeau Field is on. What's cool is, for those people who don't know, like, Lambeau Field is literally in the middle of a neighborhood. It just, you drive off the highway and boom, you're in a neighborhood and Lambeau's right there. You're going to park on streets. Normally people park in the parking lot at Lambeau, but you can't do that because that's where the fans is going to be. The fans are going to be, that's where the stage is. People are just going to park in people's yards, which is a very Lambeau thing to do, as you know. It's going to be cool. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, it's going to be packed. I'm really excited to see how it's going to go because we're not used to this here at all.
Yeah, looking at where you are right now, and you just explained it, you're across the street from Lambeau on Lombardi Avenue. So is the stage somewhere behind you on the right side?
Yeah, so the stage is, if you look to it would be to the east. That's where the stage is right on the corner of Oneida Street and Lombardi Avenue. The Resch Center is where the Green Bay Phoenix men's basketball team plays. So that they have like an expo center that they just put up. That's where the green room is going to be. The stage is going to be there. And what's kind of cool is the red carpet before the draft is actually going to be inside Lambeau. So that's going to be really cool for the prospects who are attending. One would hope for the Patriots' sake and imagine that who they are going to pick will probably be here.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But like you said, so they'll be inside of Lambeau waiting to hear their name called, then make their way outside. What do you think they'll do to make this unique to Green Bay, specifically on draft night? I know, unfortunately, they won't be riding bikes like we see during training camp, but do you think there's anything special they'll be doing for these draft picks?
It doesn't seem like there's going to be a ton. The bike thing would have been really cool. I do know that Mark Murphy, the Packers president and CEO, who is retiring after this year, and Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, will be riding bikes with kids on Saturday. But they wanted the draft picks doing it. That would have been cool. I remember when it was in Vegas, they said they were going to have them on boats. That was not going to happen at the Bellagio. So the bikes thing, other than that, I haven't really heard of anything too close to Wisconsin and Green Bay traditions. Bike thing, unfortunately, not happening.
Maybe we'll see a few cheeseheads on the draft picks. I think that would suffice, right?
I would imagine you will definitely. Yeah, maybe that's what they should do. They should have every draft hat be like a cheese foam hat of the team. Maybe the Lions, Bears, and Vikings wouldn't be too big of fans of that happening, but that would be a cool touch for sure.
Yeah, go pass along that suggestion. All right, let's get into the draft a little bit because I know for you the Packers don't pick until much later on, but the Patriots have the 4th overall pick. This draft seems really unpredictable. We were talking about it right before we hopped on this. Do you expect it to be a little crazy, maybe from the first 5 picks or maybe even throughout the first 10 picks, maybe some movement around the draft board with teams?
It's interesting because this is the latest, I believe, since 1993 that there have been no trades before draft day, which leads me to believe that, yeah, things might get crazy. I've heard teams are calling up even to the Titans, to the Giants, to the Browns, to maybe get up to 1, 2, or 3. So, yeah, I do think it will get interesting. I know we've talked about it. The Patriots, do they stand put? They have a lot of needs, as you know. You got to protect Drake May, so that's why I would assume they would go offensive line. Is Will Campbell's arms long enough? You guys have probably beaten that horse to death. But him, Armand Membu, we'll see. I don't know. I would imagine offensive line is the route the Patriots go, but you would know better than me.
Well, you're spot on with that. I think right now we are all thinking Will Campbell arm length aside. But just to end this, I mean, you know, we know how special Green Bay itself is, but again, to have such a large-scale event in such a small city, how cool is it for you guys there to be able to show off the city of Green Bay and everything that makes Lambeau Field so special?
Yeah, I think that's what's going to be really cool because the NFL said we weren't exactly sure where the draft stage was going to be, and people were like, wait, why isn't the draft stage, why isn't Lambeau in the background of the draft stage? Because they said the main shot that they get is when they swing around, when you get the shot looking out on the fans, when you see behind the commissioner and the draft picks, that's when you see all the fans. That's when you see Lambeau Field, which is hallowed, obviously, the frozen tundra. People say it's one of the meccas, obviously, of the NFL. We kind of get spoiled because it's right down the street from us. You know that. But, like, yeah, for people who've never been here for these draft picks, it's going to be really cool because it is such a special place in NFL history. So for it to be here, I think it's going to be really cool. I think Green Bay is going to embrace it. I think it's going to be a big party. Wisconsin definitely knows how to do that. I think they'll do it pretty well here on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And really the hope is the weather holds out. That's all we can ask for.
Hey, as long as it's not snowing, right? But yeah, excited to see all those fans flock to Green Bay. We know how awesome those Packers fans are. So I'm sure it will be crazy, and we can't wait to see it all happen. Good luck to you guys, because I know you will have a busy weekend keeping us all covered with everything that's happening at the NFL Draft. Ryan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate it.